I'm going to be laying earth bags this morning using the stand mixer instead of the tractor, which is what we would normally use. And I'm just going to be laying one short course from one door frame over here all the way around to the other door frame, which is about half of the circle of this dome. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so I did some of the earth bag laying by myself using the stand mixer, and I didn't get as far as I liked for the time that I put into it. So definitely the bottom line is, yes, you can do this by yourself, but it does take quite a bit longer to do just doing it one bucket at a time using the stand mixer. So I don't know if you can see this, but what I got done is just this section here. And what I really wanted to do was get all of this part of the semicircle. So wasn't able to get all that done, but I was able to do it myself, and that was the whole goal. So yesterday I tried to do at least a half of a circle of earth bags, and I only got this section done. Ernie and I are always busy doing different things, and I wanted to see what I could do by myself. So it took me about 3 hours in total just to do this little part, when it would normally take maybe 2 hours to do maybe a semicircle and maybe half a day to do the full circle. So, but I wanted to prove that you could do it. And it was a lot of setup and bringing the equipment over and making sure I had enough water and enough power to go with the stand mixer that I had over here. And it can be done if you have nothing else to do and you're just kind of playing around with it. Then it's something that you could just do, and eventually, you know, you'll get all your earth bags laid. But for me, time-wise, it was just such a time suck that I didn't continue with doing the other part of the circle. So
we're going to go ahead and do it the traditional
way, much faster, much more efficient. But that being said, I think if we have workshops out here in the fall or anytime really, that setup would be okay to do with a couple of people, one person mixing it in the stand mixer, where others are laying the bags. And so while somebody's laying the bags, somebody could
yeah, it's a slower, more deliberate get used to the material and how to spread it and do different stuff. And this was a good area for her to do because we had two cleats, you know, one for this door frame and one for that one over there, and to use more of a concrete mix to make sure that they get solidified in. Now that's what we're going to be doing today, is we have, you know, that cleat to include in between the bags and that one, and then we go around and that one, you know. So it's preferable that we're just so busy doing, you know, radio shows and working the site and family stuff and other projects on the land. I'm going to show you, maybe even later today, I might do it, the shipping container in there. I got 2x3s that you take a grinder, you rough up, go down to the metal on the inside of the indentations, of the vertical indentations, and you press in with their cargo retainers. They're like 8 foot long, and you spread them across to hold boxes in and so on when you're shipping. And I got 3 of those and pressed both sides of those 2x3s with liquid nails. Now, a good friend, Bob Anderson, had done this with 2 containers, 20-foot containers, and showed how you can frame it out. I go, oh, heck yeah. So that's what we're doing in there to build shelves and a workstation and all kinds of stuff. And I'll be showing you that. And that's kind of, you know, while a show is processing, you know, I do a show and I got to process it and post it and all that kind of stuff. And I'll run out there, jump on the ATV, and I'll go out and do a little bit of work there and then come back 10 minutes, you know, because you want the glue to set. So I'm getting stuff done in between stuff, and there's always stuff, and we got a bunch of other stuff going on. But today we scheduled it off. Donna needs to go into town later today for a couple of days, and then I'll be out here, and she's getting everything ready for me to do the shows, and I'll be working out here mostly on that shipping container when I don't have her help, and we'll do that. Now I can do the concrete in the bucket or the adobe, or the hyper adobe structured adobe mix, and do this myself, but probably not. So we'll be working on the shipping container, finishing the storage and turn it in the workshop, and I'll bring you along for that. But today, bags, more bags. Now when we get done, you can see this level, we're starting to get to the point to where we start thinking about electrical boxes, where the outlets and stuff go on. We may do one more level, but after we get this level done, then we'll start thinking about the wiring and such. And so it's a step-by-step process. Here we go. Okay, as we stated before, the first thing you want to do is the concrete mix so that it solidifies and really locks this in. The rest of this is going to be structured adobe, which means just dirt with a little bit of Portland in it, and you don't even have to do that. But we mix it up. We just take, this scoop and put her in there, and then we start bringing it out, and then we'll start doing the mix into the concrete bucket here, and do the structured adobe, and just start going around, and we'll be done here directly. Now you put a hyperlapse on this, but here in Arizona, oh my God, it's only 100 degrees. Well, it's usually getting like 110, even with shading and so on. These cameras just get so hot, they just stop working. So we'll show you the end result. Well, Donna is taking a break. She's going over there cooling off, and it only takes a few minutes, and man, you're ready to go again. But you got to do it. If you don't get your core down, all of a sudden you'll get heat stroke. Now, what we've done is we've used a bag on that, and now we got to, scrunch up that bag on there. That'll take freaking 15, 20 minutes just to do that. Now, it only took us about, I don't know, a half hour, 40 minutes to do this part. So we're rocking and rolling and whatnot. And what we want to do is get the soil. This is adobe. You do this about this moisture here, get a little clod, but it can break, and that gives us the ability to tamp it down. Now we had an 8-inch tamper that we've been using, but Donna was like, oh, we need a bigger tamper. So we went ahead and got a 10-inch, and between the two, we can get this done pretty quick. So we try and get it level, width-wise and level length-wise, and you do the best you can. You get it pretty good. I mean, it's a big, long brick, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, once you get to the top, you're going to do a level cement, kind of a binder block, on top that will encase the bottom of the dome. So this will set on these bags, and then you'll have probably, 6-inch, let's say, and the EMT is the reinforcement. And then you put up, you'll see, I had an old prototype a couple of years ago that we had done, and you cover this with fence, and you put the mesh on and so on, and hopefully you'll be able to see that of what we've already done. We didn't do a lot of other things, but we did experiment with a lot of things that we're going to be doing here, and there's new stuff and new techniques that we want to do. But later I'm going to be working on the workshop in the shipping container. I want to get that ready for when the weather gets nice and we can do a lot of work over there. And it's lots of projects. It all parallels and comes together eventually. And what we're hoping to do is by the holidays that we can have friends and family over and enjoy a beautiful desert out here and just go exploring the grandkids and everything, and have enough infrastructure so that they got, power and a bathroom and, stuff. We got the bus to kind of be a hub, but we want to build a outdoor shower and bathroom over there. And then of course there's going to be a bathroom in here. I don't know if it's going to be ready by then, but we can keep it going. And we had a little bit of rain, and normally I would be out carving the desert, but it wasn't enough. And then we're going to have to go over to the sand pond over there and start getting more soil that we need for doing the dome, and then also for the house pad over here. We just got to keep raising that up. So it's just a lot of things, a little bit at a time, and depending on when both of us are available, because this takes two people to really have efficient use of the time. So that's what we're doing today. Okay, I just finished doing a show, and I wanted to show you this. This is a terracotta pot that I got yesterday when getting supplies to demonstrate unglazed, just raw clay, and they call it terracotta, I think. Very popular here in Arizona. And one of the things that they use them for is this. The clay saturates with moisture. Now, what you can do is you take and you put this upside down, and you just take a glue gun, glue that together, and you go around and you just fill these up every week or so. The reason is because this absorbs water and it bleeds it out into the surrounding soil. Now what happens is this keeps it wet wherever for, a week, days at least, but it demonstrates how the clay in the soil out here is what it's made of, here in the Southwest. The clay goes up. This is just a little bit in the bottom. I didn't fill this up or anything, or just flow over anyway. This will just keep going up and it'll saturate this clay. This is what happens to the soil out here. It goes up as fast as it goes down. So that's what we're doing with the berm and swales that we're creating out here, is to having a lot of the water penetrate the clay, and it does this. And then you can also get the neck bands that we use, or absorbent things that they put in diapers and so on. You can buy those little beads and they soak up the water like this and keep it available for plants. So I just wanted to show you that. I just did this a couple hours ago and it just sucked it right up.